President Lukashenko announced that Belarus is prepared for all scenarios. Ukrainian soldiers criticized the armor of the U.S. Abrams tank, revealing Russian weapons used to respond to U.S. short- and medium-range missiles. Mr. Trump received unexpectedly good news about the indictment for illegally possessing classified documents. President Lukashenko announced that Belarus is prepared for all scenarios. President Aleksander Lukashenko announced that Belarus is prepared for all scenarios, although it is still unlikely that Western European countries will let down their guard and cross the line. History shows you clearly how difficult it was for our ancestors to survive, in dugouts, trenches, jungles, hunger, cold, lice. National news agency Belta quoted the statement as saying of President Lukashenko at a solemn meeting on Victory Day in Minsk on May 7. This leader continued to emphasize, this cannot be allowed to happen again. Such events must not be repeated in Belarusian history. Therefore, the president of Belarus affirmed, everything we do is to prevent the risk of another great patriotic war. We must be ready for anything. I do not believe that countries Western Europe will lose its reason and cross the boundary it has drawn for itself. President Lukashenko said that he did not believe that President Emmanuel Macron of France, a nuclear power, a cautious and intelligent person, would declare that he was ready to send armed forces to Ukraine and start fighting. Or for example, Poland is the same. To prevent them from doing this, we must be strong. No matter how big or small, we must be strong, focused, united, the Belarusian leader said. And he added, it is my responsibility and the responsibility of those around me to ensure that we can respond to any threat. President Lukashenko also sent special words of gratitude to the liberators of Belarus living in many parts of the world. You are our beloved people. No matter what happens, and no matter the countries, how do you live today? Treat Victory Day. The country of Belarus is grateful to all of you and thanks you. This leader's statement came just a few hours after TASS news agency and Reuters news agency reported that Belarus would hold tactical nuclear exercises with Russia. In a statement, Defense Minister Viktor Krenin said that the president directed an unexpected inspection of the country's forces in charge of tactical nuclear weapons. Ukrainian soldiers criticized the armor of the U.S. Abrams tank. Ukrainian soldiers believe that the U.S. Abrams tank is accurate, stable, and mobile, but does not have depleted uranium armor and ERA in the turret. On May 6, the Ukrainian military YouTube channel Army TV posted a video of this country's journalists interviewing the crew of the M1 Abrams tank of the 47th Independent Mechanized Brigade, a unit nicknamed Iron Fist that is operating in Ukraine, fighting on the Avdiivka front in Donetsk province. In the interview, they discussed the strengths and weaknesses of the Abrams tank model delivered by the U.S. Its main advantages are the ability to fire accurately, excellent stability and mobility, despite its large weight, said Dmytro, commander of the Abrams tank of Ukraine's 47th Brigade. According to this soldier, the biggest drawback of the tank model is that it is not equipped with depleted uranium armor and does not have explosive reactive armor, ERA, in the turret. We want the U.S. to provide explosive reactive armor to protect the flanks as well as the turret, thereby increasing the survival rate for the crew, he said. The U.S. M1 Abrams tank transferred to Ukraine uses tungsten armor instead of depleted uranium alloys like the domestic version, according to Washington's export regulations. Tank roofs are usually not equipped with ERA, because the top of the turret contains many complex electronic components, which can be damaged when the ERA explodes to intercept an enemy attack. The video shows that the 47th Brigade installed its own ARAD M19 explosive reactive armor on the side of an Abrams tank. This ERA model works well. When attacked by an anti-tank guided missile, ATGM, it will cause the projectile to fly off course, Dmytro said. This soldier also confirmed that the Abrams tank can effectively deal with both enemy infantry and heavy weapons, adding that they had just used it to destroy a Russian T-62, after this tank was damaged. Hit by a Russian first-person drone, FPV drone. Abrams armor-piercing depleted uranium ammunition works very effectively. I want the US to transfer to Ukraine more types of ammunition, including high-explosive fragmentation ammunition, because it will help us be able to carry out more types of missions, he said. Ukrainian soldiers also appreciated the flexible combat capabilities of American tanks. The tank can fight both day and night, thanks to being equipped with a thermal imaging sight. However, the enemy does not stand still but hunts us even at night, Dmytro said, seemingly refers to Russian drone models equipped with thermal imaging cameras for night combat. Russia on May 7 released a video from an FPV drone, showing that the M1A1SA Abrams tank was detected and chased by a Russian drone equipped with thermal imaging sensors while moving on the road near the stronghold of Avdiivka in Donetsk province. The FPV drone then crashed into the roof behind the turret, where the vehicle's ammunition compartment is located. The attack seemed to have detonated the ammunition in the compartment, causing the car to rush to the side of the road and burn fiercely. Rybar, a pro-Russian military account with more than 1 million followers on Telegram, expressed surprise that Ukrainian Abrams tanks were not equipped with protective measures such as steel cages to deal with drones, while Russian tanks' turtle shell armor has been installed to increase protection for the crew. Revealing Russian weapons used to respond to U.S. short- and medium-range missiles. Russia's use of intercontinental ballistic missiles to respond to U.S. short- and medium-range missiles is considered somewhat surprising. Recently, the Russian Foreign Ministry informed the public that if Washington decides to deploy short- and medium-range missiles, from 500 to 5,500 kilometers, Moscow will promptly respond to this. The answer is the Rs-26 Rubesh land mobile missile system, which was expected to be put into use in the Russian armed forces from the end of 2017, but has been removed from the state weapons program until 2027 due to funding shortages. It should be noted that along with the Rs-26 Rubesh solid-fuel ballistic missile, the Barguzin Railway Mobile Missile System project was also stopped at the same time. It is known that the development process of Rs-26 Rubesh is almost completed. The tests carried out in 2011 to 2015 were quite successful. Furthermore, experts from the United States have been monitoring the above progress very closely, paying attention to every detail. The launches were carried out from the Kapustin Yar test range, located in the northeast of Russia's Astrakhan region, and the destination was the Sary-Shagan training range rented by the Russian Ministry of Defense, distance about 2,100 kilometers, located west of the lake. Balkhash on the Batpakdala steppe in the territory of Karaganda and Zambo regions of Kazakhstan. The Americans at that time were outraged by such launches, accusing Russia of violating the INF Treaty, despite the fact that the range of the Rs-26 Rubesh exceeded 6,000 kilometers and corresponded to a strategic missile, not a missile. Medium-range missiles, ignoring arguments from Russia. Besides, after the Russian Federation closed these missile programs, the U.S. unilaterally withdrew from the INF Treaty in 2019. Mr. Trump received unexpectedly good news about the indictment for illegally possessing classified documents. Former U.S. President Donald Trump received unexpectedly good news after a judge ordered an indefinite postponement of his trial on charges of illegally storing secret government documents after leaving office. According to the previously scheduled schedule, former President Trump will have to appear in court on May 20 on charges brought by U.S. Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. However, both the prosecution and defense acknowledged the need to postpone that trial date. Reuters reported that federal judge Aileen Cannon, who was appointed to this position by Mr. Trump in 2020, ruled on May 7 that the trial would no longer begin on May 20, but did not press timing of replacement. Previously, Mr. Cannon had planned to conduct pre-trial hearings until July 22. Up to now, Mr. Trump has still refused to plead guilty to 40 federal criminal charges related to his storage of sensitive national security documents at his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. After leaving office in 2021 as well as hindering the U.S. government's efforts to get them back. Judge Cannon's new decision is considered good news for Mr. Trump, the Republican representative candidate for a final rematch with Democratic President Joe Biden in this year's race for the White House. The developments help significantly reduce the possibility of the former president facing a jury in one of the two federal criminal cases against him before the upcoming November 5 general election. Judge Cannon has not yet made a ruling on a number of important legal issues related to the above confidential documents scandal. However, observers said, there are some signs that Mr. Cannon supports protecting Mr. Trump on some such issues.